Credit cards come with a lot of great benefits like cashback, helping you build your credit, fraud, and purchase protection, and you can even put funny pictures on them. But with great power comes great responsibility, and unfortunately, you may be using credit cards wrong. And I don't mean you're swiping them wrong, I'm sure you're physically using them correctly. Well, I don't know, I've seen some things.
No, it's not all right. I'm out of cash. Hey, you take bank cards?
But what I mean is that you could be using them in a way that costs you a lot of money, doing you more harm than good, and not making the benefits they offer worth it. So I'm going to warn you about 3 incorrect ways of using credit cards, and if you're in your 20s, this is a great time to learn about this. The first incorrect way to use a credit card is to carry a balance. And you know you're carrying a balance if you're only making the minimum payment and not paying your card off in full every month. This is super expensive because when you don't pay it off in full, you have to pay interest, and it's not just on the balance. You have to pay interest on the money that you borrow, and the calculation for it isn't that straightforward. To avoid this calculation, and more importantly, to avoid paying extra unnecessary money, it's just better to pay it off in full. Just an FYI, when it comes to credit cards, the interest rate is called the annual percentage rate, also known as APR, and it's probably somewhere between 16 and 24%, which is a lot. Pro tip, you should make it a habit of paying your card off a few times a month because 1, it's a good habit, and 2, because if anything happens and you can't pay it off in full at the end of the month, you will be charged less in interest. You can pay off the same amount of money at the beginning of the month or at the end of the month, but the closer you are to the end of the billing date, the more you will be charged for interest. The calculation for the interest usually works with daily averages, so the more money you have borrowed for longer, the more you're calculated to pay daily. I hope that makes sense, but again, you can avoid this altogether by just paying it off in full. The second wrong way to use credit cards is to not set up automatic payments that will automatically pay off your card in full when it's due. Setting up automatic payments will save you from paying late fees and also that interest I talked about earlier if you paid off in full every month. I've said this before, but I'll say it again. The only interest you want in your life is the one that pays you money and from your crush. And just because you set up automatic payments doesn't mean that you shouldn't still be paying your card off manually a few times a month. You should still make it a habit to pay your card off at least once a week. It's really not that hard. That's what she said. And you'll be doing yourself a big favor. A third way you could be using your credit card incorrectly, and this one is really sneaky, but a third way is paying an annual fee when it's not worth it, or because the fee was waived and they didn't charge you the first year, but you forgot about it. By the way, if this video has been helpful, I would appreciate it if you hit the like button so that this video can help others, and I'm not gonna lie, it's gonna help me too. Anyway, sometimes that annual fee is worth it, but sometimes it's not, and it's gonna take a little bit of math on your end to figure that out for you. Some credit cards offer extra rewards for things like travel or just in general when you spend more money. But you need to compare the rewards with other cards and see if you're better off just going with one that doesn't have an annual fee. And now that you know some incorrect ways to use a credit card, you can avoid the mistakes I talked about in this video and save yourself a lot of money. And if you want to learn about 10 more money mistakes to avoid in your 20s so that you could be better with your money, make sure you watch this video.